joined by what we think are two perfect experts. Neil deGrasse Tyson, famed astrophysicist with the American Museum of Natural History in New York City, the author of Cosmic Queries, and the former director of the CIA under President Obama with much government experience as well, John Brennan. And happy World Asteroid Day to both of you. Thanks for doing this.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you.
Mr. Brennan, as someone who used to be responsible for the nation's highest secrets, as well as national security planning, why do you say that the evidence supports at least keeping open the prospect of intelligent life out there?
Well, I don't think I said that there's any evidence at all of alien life. What I said is that a lot of these phenomena that have been observed, including by Navy pilots, are unexplained. And I don't think that there's any way that we can exclude the possibility of certain types of explanations. But throughout my government career, when I had looked at those videos and saw documents and read eyewitness reports, again, I never saw any evidence of that alien life. But as Donald Rumsfeld, who sadly passed away today, said numerous times, the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. And I do think that in this large expanse of a universe, that we cannot exclude the possibility that there is some form of life somewhere else that we don't understand or can detect yet. But quite frankly, I have no earthly idea whether or not such life exists.
Earthly being such a key modifier. Neil, we quoted the scientific lens you bring to a question that, of course, has fascinated many. Explain how you look at this.
Oh, yeah. First, I mean, aliens are part of our culture now. If you look at how frequently they show up in movies, very few of them are friendly, by the way. I can count this many movies where they're friendly aliens. The rest always just want to kill us. So the public is thinking about aliens all the time. We are ripe for interpreting whatever we don't understand in the context of something that we believe we do understand. We all know what aliens look like. They have big heads and big eyes, and they walk, and they have skinny bodies. You know, how come nobody sees an alien with big muscles coming down, or an alien that looks like a lobster, right? So we're preconditioned to believe, all right, more than we are preconditioned to question. And so I see this footage, as you teased earlier in the program, with a clip of me at a previous interview. I'm just thinking we have 3 billion smartphones activated in this world and interconnected, and they can all take high resolution, high quality photos and especially video. So in a sense, we are crowdsourcing the monitoring of visitors to Earth from space. And I'm disappointed that the best evidence put forward are these monochromatic videos taken by Navy pilots, as though the aliens are only interested in showing up in front of the U.S. military.
Yeah, I think that's such a great evidentiary point, and you are both in your own ways experts at sifting available information. And Neil, not to overcompliment you, but you know who you sound like.
Who?
You sound like your old buddy, the great Carl Sagan. And we were thinking again about the scientific lens. And we hope that in looking at this, we're doing journalism, which is a much lower grade daily attempt at what you both do, which has a little bit more long-term resonance. But, you know, I work on a daily basis, whatever. But we were digging into how Sagan advises that we think about information, including human biases, which gets into psychology. Take a look.
If you would believe, as the flying saucer cultists would have us believe, that the majority of the saucer reports are due to visitations, then you have a very strange situation. That means several spaceships are coming to the Earth over interstellar distances every day, as if all the anthropologists in the world were to converge on one of the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean because they just invented the fishnet there or something.
Does that kind of argument, with tracks with some of your points, lead us to be able to rule something out? or just say very unlikely?
What Mr. Brennan noted a few in an interview that you had just shared that he participated in, I think if we need better evidence, that's all. So in other words, they could be visiting intelligent aliens from another planet. They could be. No reason to rule that out, but what is presented in support of that contention is insufficient to convince a skeptic. I can tell you a couple of other things. We all obtain software all the time, and you bet that when the software is released, they're pretty sure there are no errors in it. A week later, they need an update. A month later, another update, okay? This is also true with hardware. You can make hardware, especially complex hardware. There are things that can happen inside the hardware, especially if it's brand new and the very latest thing, that are not fully characterized and not fully understood. In your list of what those detections could have been, you did not include a failure of the hardware to register information correctly. And so what we might have is an artifact inside the hardware that everyone is now assuming is real, and then going off all limits to interpret it. And so I'm just saying, I simply want better evidence. That's all. And why should you care? Why should anyone care what I think? Go catch the aliens. Do it. I have no problems. But I want to remind you, the government doesn't own the sky. Okay? So the idea that the government has alien secrets that nobody else knows about or has access to would mean all the aliens are only showing themselves to the U.S. government. That's untenable to me.
Right. Well, Neil, you said, why does anyone care what you think? I mean, one reason is you have a dope mind. That's one reason why people keep track of how you look at things. Sometimes we learn by thinking, I can't think of what Neil thinks, but once I hear him explain it, I can follow his train of thought a little bit. And so I take it to John on the government side. Within whatever you're allowed to share, did the U.S. government have any contingency plans for dealing with anything that might come from the rest of the universe backed by intelligent life or traveling light years from the past or future? Does that make it to the level of CIA military planning, or that's so out of bounds they don't spend a lot of time on that?
Well, since we don't know what is out there, it's hard to put together good contingency plans to deal with those things. I agree with Neil that these are phenomena that's unexplained. And I think sometimes we get hung up on the term evidence. And there are some people who claim that this is evidence of alien life. I think that's pure speculation. But I think there is an obligation, certainly on the part of the U.S. government, to try to understand what these unexplained phenomena are. U.S. Navy pilots are not making up or fabricating these observations. They saw something. And as Neil pointed out, sometimes the sensors could be wrong. Maybe they're malfunctioning. But there are things that, again, are not explainable. And I do think there is part of our human, being. We want to try to understand what is unexplainable. And I think that's what we have to continue to do. And might there be some type of form of life out there in the far beyond of the universe? Yes, I think it's arrogant of us to say, no, there's not. But have I seen any evidence of it? Do I believe that the U.S. government has any evidence of that? No, I do not at this point.